We'll be reviewing Dynamics GP 2015, which is now available for upgrade. Today's presenter is Lisa Armstrong. Lisa is a senior Microsoft Dynamics GP consultant here at SSI Consulting and has many years' experience working with GP. One housekeeping item. During the presentation, you'll be in listen-only mode, but you can ask questions or ask for assistance in the question or chat box on your screen. After the presentation, we'll open up the lines and have a Q&A. We'll also be sending you this presentation after the broadcast. And now, without further ado, Lisa, take it away.
Thank you, Marion, and good morning, everybody. Thank you for taking the time out to attend this webinar. We do have 30 minutes to go over a lot of information. Like Marion said, we will open the lines up for Q&A at the end. But any additional follow-up that would be a little more than that, we'd have to handle separately. So I'm just going to get right into it. First start by saying GP 2015 has been out, excuse me, since the beginning of the year. GP 2015 R2 just came out a couple of weeks ago. Microsoft is now providing release versions or release 2 versions about every 6 months. So the features here are in both GP 2015 as well as R2. Some of the agenda items that we're going to talk about are in these areas. What's new in the financials area, in distributions, which is sales order, purchase order, and inventory. Some general system and company information, business intelligence and reporting, and just a quick slide on workflow and what's available for that. Since GP 2013, Service Pack 2 and R2, there's been a lot of feature releases. Now in 2015, these are all incorporated, so it's an all-inclusive feature release, and we're going to go over some of these items. One of the items, if you do have fixed assets, is you know that there's not been a year-end closing report in prior versions. You do now have an option to print out the fixed assets year-end close report. The assets that are on the report are categorized by asset book and are listed according to their asset IDs. So you will now have that available to you if you are using fixed assets. Smart Lists, this has been a huge issue for a lot of you. Under the account transaction reporting, the debit now displays before the credit. So that's true in SQL views if you use any SQL views or any type of reporting that would pull in this account transaction. So before it was in alphabetical order, but now the debit does appear before the credit. Combined general ledger inquiry. In the past, there has been 2 inquiry windows, a summary inquiry and a historical inquiry. And now everything is incorporated on one screen. And I'm just going to toggle back and forth to GP to demonstrate that. So under your inquiry, financial, and summary, you used to have a historical. Now under the summary, you have every year that you have within your installation of GP or within that company. So you don't have to leave that one screen. You can toggle back and forth with any year that you do have in GP. Intercompany enhancements. If you're using Intercompany, you do have the capability to go back and see the originating entry. So the intercompany transactions, if they're voided, are going to go also to the destination company as an unposted batch. So you're going to be able to see it cross companies. For example, if you void an intercompany sale in the originating company, the sale is voided in the destination company or companies at the same time. So that's a nice enhancement. You used to have to go back and manually enter that. But you are going to be able to see the inquiry all the way back across the intercompany or the companies that you've entered the intercompany transaction for. Payment terms. This has been a request from one of our clients to have more advanced payment functionality. They wanted to be able to have payments due, whether it's receivables or payables, on the 5th day of the 2nd month or the 5th day of the 3rd month. And this is going to allow you to do so, where you can have additional days to due date option, additional due options, and additional discount options. Your options are going to be next month or X month, month, day, and annual. So that's a nice screen to look at there. And if you are missing some payment terms that you'd really like to have, GP 2015 does have additional payment terms. What I'm showing you here, too, before I forget to say, is all out of the box. So if you are on GP 2015, you would have all of these features. They are not additional features. Auto deposit cash receipts. There's been just some complaints throughout the years of when you go enter a cash receipt in GP, you have to then go to the bank deposit screen. I'll again pop over to GP to show you what I mean. Transactions, sales, and cash receipts. When I enter cash receipts here and post them, I then have to go to a second screen in financial transactions and bank deposits, where I have to aggregate those deposits to post to the bank rec. Now there's an option that allows you to automatically post the cash receipts. If you have analytical accounting, you may have seen this as a feature. They were posting automatically, but under the company setup, you can automatically post your cash receipt deposits. So it's not, you do have to toggle or check this box. It's not automatic. It comes unchecked with your implementation. Some distribution features. We're going to talk about the 2015, but again, we're listing here the GP 2013 R2. If you're still on 2010, you'll see what some of the other feature enhancements are. Payables warning when opening a purchase order. If you are entering a payables transaction, there's a warning message that's going to come up that says this vendor has an existing purchase order. It just helps you understand that there is something that exists for that vendor, and maybe you don't want you may not want a duplicate invoice that would come into the system. So you may have a purchase order that exists. You may have a payables clerk that would go in and enter it through AP transaction entry. This is just a warning to let you know this vendor does have an existing purchase order, so that you can go take a look further to make sure you're not getting a duplicate invoice in the system, thus overpaying your vendor. Editing the email for historical documents. In GP, when you were emailing a historical document, you didn't have the capability to edit the email. So you will now have the capability to edit your email for historical sales documents, purchase orders, receivable statements, remittances, which are your EFT remittances, so historical or current email remittances. So know that you can change the email to, maybe it went to an incorrect person, you're able to change that after it's been posted and reset. SmartList Designer. If you don't already know about this, this is similar to a third-party product called SmartList Builder, and this has the capability to link tables. So again, let's go over to GP, and we'll go into SmartList Builder. There's also, if you do know about SmartList Builder, on your administration page, there is a SmartList Builder, a SmartList Designer, I apologize, on your screen before you had to go into SmartList itself. But I am going to go into SmartList directly to show you a little bit of a different look and feel that has been available since GP 2013 R2, where I can create a new SmartList that is going to link tables. I actually created one using a SQL view, and I'm calling it Excel Apply AP because I'm going to also use it in my publishing Excel example in just a moment. So here's my Excel Apply AP. What this is showing me is a vendor that has a payment and the original voucher that it went to. It also has GL distribution information. So every GL account that this particular invoice and payment went to is going to show here. It's a lot of information, but I just wanted to show how you could have all of that information on one. Currently, if you just have SmartList, you can run, payments, you can run AP transactions, but you can't really see what was applied to what. So if I click Modify, because I've already created the new one, I'll see that I've attached a SQL view. There's a great website from Victoria Uden that shows you a lot of SQL views. So if you're a SQL person or you need our assistance, let us know. So under this company, I've created that. But I could link additional tables to this. And when I do link tables, it's going to ask me for the relationship of those tables. It's going to ask me if I want to filter any data. I may only want to see payments, or I may only want to see invoices, or only certain GL accounts. So I have different filtering capabilities here that I can put right into the SmartList. So if you don't already have this, or you do and you need assistance, let us know. It's a very, very powerful tool. They will all show up in SmartList here. And because that's based off of a SQL view, I can publish that to Excel. So I've already published it. I'm going to replace it. And it tells me the Excel report has published successfully. I'm going to go to the Purchasing tab because that's the area that I posted it, pull up my Excel report where, again, if you don't already know about this, about 100 or so canned refreshable Excel reports are available for you to deploy. Here's my Excel Apply. I'm going to open that up in Excel. And here it is in the same exact view. I don't have to resend this out to Excel from SmartList. It is now what we call a real-time refreshable report because it has a data connection associated with it based on that publishing. Again, I'm not going to get into that today, but if you want more information, and I'm going to show you some other examples of these refreshable reports at the end of the presentation. But the properties are, if you're a SQL person, here's all the information, and here's the SQL script that pulls in that data. So actually what you could do is give this to one of your non-GP users, and they can now create a pivot table or charts, graphs, because the data connection is still associated with it, as long as they have security rights to that. So let's go back to the presentation. So that SmartList Designer, again, provides the capability to link tables within GP and its third-party products and SQL views to provide a more robust picture of your business transactions. If you take a look at what's available, these are all the products and third parties that I have installed in my GP system. And as long as they link with key fields, you would also get results down here in the bottom, the results preview to see, am I getting the correct data? And then I showed you where we did publish that and how we could pull that up. So two great features. The SmartList Designer was available in 2013 R2. The Publish Excel Reports is available in 2015. We also have some new management reporter options. In the past, if you had analytical accounting, you know that it didn't always pull the correct numbers. There were some issues surrounding the analytical accounting presentation and management reporter. So now I can say, I don't want you to report on analytical accounting tables. I want you to report on the general ledger accounting. And that's going to help some folks out move forward with management reporter. Or you can use both. So you can decide. You first have to enable the general ledger reporting and then enable analytical so that you can use both or one or the other. So that's, again, from the company setup options, similar to where we went to enable the auto cash receipt auto deposit. Under reporting tool setup, let's actually visit that for just a moment, because this is something most folks do not know about. I'm going to get out of Smart List here, and I think I just closed out of GP. Just a moment. I hate it when I do that. It's the X. All right. So under System, we have Reporting Tools Setup. Again, this is out of the box, but does have to be configured. Tool Setup System, Reporting Tools Setup. This is going to bring me back to the Management Reporter piece. But I have the capability to deploy SQL Server Reporting Services reports, the Excel reports, which we looked at a little bit. I'm going to show you a couple of dashboards in a few minutes. And Management Reporter, so we can basically bring all this data in to be seen within GP, although you're deploying Management Reporter or an Excel report or SSRS. A little hard to understand, but there are about 200 reports available to you out of the box that I would suggest you do get deployed, especially the Excel report. So back to the presentation. What we have to do is, under this Management Reporter tab, is wherever our Management Reporter service is installed, we have to give it that. And wherever our Report Designer .exe is, we also provide that as a link. And then what will happen is the reports list is included in a new tab, which I'll show you on the next screen, where you can quickly and easily find open reports that you've created using Management Reporter. You don't need to go into Management Reporter anymore to run these. So from my financial page, where we looked at Excel reports just a few minutes ago, I now have Management Reporter reports. As I double-click on this report, it's going to launch. Or I can go create a new MR report. That will bring me into MR because I have to create a new one. But any that have been created, I'm just going to be able to double-click. And if you know already about the Management Reporter web viewer, that is how they show up. So again, you're not leaving GP. It shows up in web viewer. You never have to go into MR, which is essentially a separate product but works directly with GP. So I love this feature with GP 2015. So okay, on to some system information. You probably have the capability or the issue where you need to alert all users. Can you please exit out of GP? I can now say I want to send a message to all my users by checking the boxes, either send it as a notification message for users who are currently logged in, or send it as a task with a reminder. It could be something that's a task that is repeated. And I'm telling them, please exit out of the system for approximately 1 hour while we process routine backups. Whatever the message is that you want to let everybody know. Hey, we're being released early. Go home. So that would pop up. And another item that goes with that, or could go with that, is taking a company offline. If you want to do backups without anybody in there, you can take a company offline. And as they try to log into that company, it will tell you the company is currently offline for maintenance. Try again later. So those are two features that are going to help keep folks out of the system when you need to do either maintenance or a backup or some sort of a routine that requires the user to get out. And those are all available from your system administration page. Copy user settings. This is a capability that allows you to copy not only security, but home page information. Oftentimes we have, a new accounting clerk that comes in and they need to inherit the same exact security as a user that just left. So you can take that user information and copy it to the new user, where you can now just inherit every security and home page content that the old user had. So you don't have to worry about setting up the same exact, oh, what do they have? And so that's a great feature as well. Workflow, again, you probably want to call us for more information, but workflow is available in GP 2013 R2. Some purchasing and payroll and project workflows came out. In 2015, we have GL batch approval, payables batch approval, vendor approval, receivables batch approval. If you're using payroll, some additional payroll approvals, and in project and expense report approval. So those are some great workflow features that you might want to talk to us further about. Other notable features since GP 2013. Document attachment allows you to go back into GP. Perhaps under a vendor, I want to attach a contract or multiple documents. So I'm going to attach, all right, that's not going to work for me. So we can enter multiple attachments. I think what I did is I set up this brand new, and so let's come back to that if we have time. But the document attachment allows you to add multiple attachments to any transactions and any master records in your GP environment, and also the capability to email them, whether they're a PDF, a Word document. It replaces the old OLE notes, which was very, very cumbersome. There is an OLE notes to the document attachment migration utility. So when you upgrade, we're going to be able to do that for you. Another item is clearing unit balances, so statistical information during the year-end close. Oftentimes you want to set them to 0 at the beginning of the year. Opening a closed fiscal year. Okay, if I ask you this, I'm sure the answer is going to be yes. Have you ever closed a year in financials only to realize you had a P&L or a balance sheet account miscoded and you wanted to just go back a moment and redo? So this allows you to open that closed fiscal year, make those changes, and reclose. So that's a nice feature. You also have 1096 statements available to you, and additional 1099 boxes in options. We also have the capability to combine or modify customers and vendors. As part of the Professional Services Tools Library tool. And if we go to the sales homepage, we have Customer, Combiner, and Modifier. If you have duplicate customers or duplicate vendors, you can either combine them or modify the ID. So you can say, I want you to take, Aaron Fitz, and I want you to combine it because it's a duplicate. This is not true. But remembering that this is a master record change and everything will be combined for this particular customer. You can also do a mass change by importing a file. So that's customers and vendors, and that's part of the GP menu items since 2013. And again, going back to the Excel reports, the out-of-the-box dashboards. Okay, these are, when you deploy your Excel reports, you get dashboards. There are 4 available, sales, inventory, financial, and purchasing. And I'm going to go to the financial and Excel report page and scroll down, and there is a dashboard available to you, to financial dashboard. I've already pulled that up, and this is what it looks like. And this would be linked to your data. So this is available to you as well as the purchasing dashboard. Let me make that just a little smaller so we can see the area below. But what happens is it's just like combining other refreshable Excel reports. We're basically dumping out raw data with a data connection. This is more of a technical discussion, but here's all the tabs, which we could hide. But they're basically brought forward to this initial screen on the worksheet or initial sheet on the worksheet. And it's just data that's real-time refreshable. When I do data refresh, all these data connections, whatever data has been posted in GP, added, deleted, it's going to update your dashboards for you. And again, these dashboards can be, with security in SQL, deployed to non-GP users so they can see what are our operating expenses, and we have category numbers. They can also be modified, but I would encourage you to deploy these and take a look at what this data is very powerful for you. So, and they're created already for you. Again, we just have to make sure they're linked properly and that you have security rights to see them within the SQL security. Okay, we are almost out of time, and I promised Q&A. So upgrade now. GP 2010 support will expire this year, October 13th. So if you're on GP 2010, you need to talk to us soon. FRX is no longer supported. You must move to Management Reporter. Take advantage of all these new features and more of what I showed you today by upgrading soon. And then also consider hosting your GP solution with us or moving to the web client. And again, we can give you more information on the pros and cons of that, but it gets you to a more of a cloud-based solution that you don't have to worry about maintaining in-house. Q&A. We have just a few minutes, but let's open up the floor and see if anybody has some quick questions.
The phone lines are all open. Thank you, Lisa.
All right, until I hear a question come in, I'm just going to show the last slide. Give us a call, email us. This is going to be, as Patrick said, we're going to send you this presentation, which will have all this information. But if you have any questions on anything, don't hesitate to reach out to us. Okay, if nobody has any questions, thank you so much again for attending. I really appreciate you taking time out of your day, and I do look forward to either talking with you or seeing you soon. Thanks again, everybody.
All right, thank you very much, Lisa.
Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye.